Hello and welcome back. I am Chris with Marksman Shooting Sports in Westfield, Indiana. You are watching Marksman TV. Welcome back to another gun store vlog. Remember, in these videos we carry the camera around and turn it on when cool and interesting stuff comes through the door that you guys might want to see or hear about. Also, we usually end the video with sort of like a question of the week sort of thing, which today is going to revolve around inventory and pricing, sort of an update there. So if that all sounds interesting to you guys, please stick around. It's coming up now. Alright guys, just got in one of the new Springfield Saint B5 pistols. They make this in a rifle configuration as well. This is relatively new to the market, first coming out about March, but just now, like everything else, trying to hit stores. So this is a very new release, so funny enough that we don't have much in the store, and this is about one of the only things we have, but it is a pretty highly sought after AR pistol right now. It gets the name because of the B5 Industries furniture set, so the handguard and of course the pistol grip. They do have this in a rifle or a carbine configuration with the Bravo style B5 stock on it as well. Pretty much everything else is just standard Springfield Saint. So pretty cool to just get this in. Of course, just like all the other Saint type stuff, very lightweight, ergonomic. Of course, as that would suggest, it is adjustable, but very, very cool. Guys, look there. And of course, happy to get in a Saint in any variety right now, but there's that one. All right, just got this one in from Hill & Mac. This is actually a Set Me L, which you guys have seen videos on the channel. Like I said, this one comes from Hill & Mac. Now, a company called Markomar, which is located here in Indiana, does a version of this as well. I think I kind of like the HMG version just a little bit more, as it does use a lot more authentic parts. Like the furniture, for example, is original. It has all the original quirks and kinks that the original Set Me L had. So this is one that I prefer. Now, as many of you guys know, I had one of these. It was my personal gun. I used it in a couple videos, which you guys can go back and look at. I did end up selling it. I don't know, I just think I had interest in something else at the time. These would retail for about $1,500. HMG just put these on sale for $9.99 a piece. So at about 2/3 the original price, I jumped on one. So you can find good deals occasionally, even in markets like this. So, you know, I've been thinking about getting one, and when I saw that price, I just jumped on it. So this is actually my personal gun. I'll be happy to put one of these Set Me's back in my collection. So anyway, there's that for you. Set Me. I don't know if that sale is still going to be going on the time I upload this video. It might be, because I'll probably upload this video in a day or two, and I know it's going on right now. So get one while you can if you're thinking about getting one. I think Markomar, I think they have them going on sale too. I could be mistaken, but you know, for $9.99, not a bad rifle, especially if you're into military surplus stuff like that, which I am. All right, check these out. We have an empty store, but what I do have are a couple pretty unique World War II machine guns. These actually are both transferable machine guns. Now, of course, rules do apply where we actually were talking with the collector that owned these for several months, and you know, finally the paperwork was approved and here they are. So, you know, customers don't just walk in off the street with machine guns and you hand them money and then they hand you the gun and leave, unless of course it's a shady deal. But if it is all legit, of course there is a bunch of paperwork involved. But what I have here, starting with this one, this is a Japanese Type 11 Chabernon 6.5. Of course, these are both live machine guns, fully functional. And you guys have been watching the channel for a long time. We do deal in machine guns, and I get quite a few through here, and I do videos on them. The most interesting thing about this is the hopper, which of course this arm loads, pops open. And each guy could drop their stripper clip of ammunition into here, close the top, and then it would start feeding via these Hotchkiss style sort of feed arms or feed grooves right here, which would reciprocate as the bolt went back and forth. Other interesting things about this is the stock, of course, bends off to the right, so of course you can bring everything out the rear, which is how everything disassembles. Very unique cooling fins here. This is an all matching gun, 100% matching every single part, which is not easy to come by. So it is already a pretty rare gun. These are pretty valuable, and I'm going to get into a lot more information. So probably be on one of our used guns, weekly used gun review videos, as well as I'm going to do a dedicated video on this as well, probably with some firings. So of course these aren't for sale, at least not now or in the near future. But Anyway, one other interesting thing about this is there is some damage right there. If I can get this to focus. There you go, which is either shrapnel damage, probably not a bullet hole. A bullet hole would have done a lot more than that. Probably some shrapnel damage, which also is right here. Maybe a bullet could have hit that, but either way, whoever was sitting behind this when that damage occurred probably did not have a very good day. Over here, this is a Breda Model 30. This particular one is 7mm Mauser because it was contracted for use in Costa Rica. Of course, the Breda 30 was an Italian light machine gun, not known at all for being a good design, but unique nonetheless. Very cool. Somebody scrolled some stuff right there. There you go. I'm sorry about the focus on the camera, guys. Very, very unique design. But anyway, I just thought I would share those with you guys. Again, these will be, I'll go into more detail on these in future videos. But I am happy to get them in. And again, this is just more of the used gun type stuff we get. And if you have any machine guns, let me know. All right. Okay, just got in another collection. Now, these are firearms that actually a gentleman dropped off to have appraised. We gave him an appraisal, actually an offer on everything. And then he called us up and said, you know what, I just want to go ahead and get rid of them. And so he decided to accept our offer, and here they are. Typically how this type of stuff goes. Some interesting stuff here. Here's a Winchester 1897 riot gun. And again, I'm not going to go into too much detail because all of these will show up in future weekly used gun reviews. Also, nothing is for sale, so please don't, spam or email and everything about these. Again, it's just informational. This is a Krag Jorgensen carbine. Actually pretty rare and uncommon, so there's that one. This is a 1903 Springfield. Nice. Of course, the surplus stuff is always a lot of fun to get. This is a 1917, so these were the two that the United States would have used. Also, Great Britain used a variation of this in 303. This is a 30-06 made by Winchester. Here is another Krag carbine, but this one has unfortunately been sporterized, or it could have been a Krag rifle that was sporterized, but it's still nice looking. The venerable Springfield M1 Garand, which everybody likes. Of course, the stock's been refinished. And a little PA 1063, not PA 63, but a 1063 Wasser. And it's, of course, had some different stock components put on there, but yeah, interesting. Again, this is just like you guys know, we get a lot of used guns, collections, individual trade-ins, and that sort of stuff. So just like to deal with a lot of collectors in the area. There you go, there's some more. Like I said, these will be coming up in a weekly used gun review video, maybe in a week or two. I have a lot to get through, but there they are. Okay guys, I'm going to finish this up with a quick update on supply. So supply right now is still pretty bad. As a lot of you guys have seen, we've been getting in a lot of used guns, and we always have, and that's sort of what keeps us afloat. But the the new gun supply is still pretty depressed, as well as ammunition. So we are still only hearing from our sales reps every once in a while. I'm getting in, a handful of new inventory items every day. Now, some strategies that some dealers are using is they're looking for firearms and ammunition at retail and then reselling it in their store with a little bit of a markup on it, just so that they have inventory on their shelves to sell to people who come in looking for it. Whether you like this strategy or not as a consumer, or if you yourself are a gun store owner and you use this strategy, is up to you. I prefer to just wait for things to come in from my wholesalers, just because I'm afraid that people will come in, see a really high price tag, and even though they're just putting a little bit of a markup on like 9mm ammo, people don't quite understand where you're getting it, and they just think that you're doubling or tripling your prices. So I like to avoid that. I'm just preferring to wait for stuff to come in at wholesale pricing, so I can try and price it at or a little bit above where I have in the past. Whichever strategy you think is best is up to you, but it's sort of a give and take with losing on public perception of your pricing versus actually having things in stock and, you know, people coming into your store just seeing that you're constantly empty and not coming back. So you're kind of damned if you do, damned if you don't, but I prefer to just not have stuff in stock all the time and to be able to sell it at a reasonable price when it comes in. Now, another thing that people have been asking about is pricing, or I should say commenting about. And I actually talked about this in my upcoming weekly used gun review video, which you guys will see in a few days. Pricing on used inventory. In those videos, I do talk about the current retail pricing on used guns. I've been getting comments about people saying, well, I'm a price gouger and there's no way they would pay those inflated prices for guns. In my weekly used gun review videos, I am just trying to educate you guys on the current price levels. Like, if I'm talking about an M&P Shield and you happen to have one and you're thinking about selling it, it gives you a good idea about where the market is and what people currently are willing to pay. That's the whole reason I do that. It's like a market analysis on used guns. I'm not doing you guys a disservice, pretending like prices are what they were a year ago, and they're not. So I'm not going to tell you fake low prices just to make some people feel better. When it comes to used guns, again, keep in mind, consumers want a fair price for their firearm, and if their firearm is worth a lot more in the current scenario or situation, I, as a gun store owner, am going to pay more for it. I had a customer come in with a couple Taurus G2s. It was a PT111 G2 first gen and a G2C, and he asked me what I had given for him. I told him the price, and it was actually, and if he's watching, hopefully he comments down below, but after I told him the price, he's like, so is the price set in stone? Like, I accept, are you going to pay me that? I said, well, yeah, if I set a price, you accept. And he said, okay, I brought in these guns a year ago and you only offered me half of what you just offered me now. And I was like, well, that's where the market is. So I have to, if I'm paying my customers based on an elevated market, and it is, and I still need to make money on that, then I can't like sell the gun at what I'm paying them for it. So yeah, the used gun prices are going to be higher. It's just how markets work. I know 99% of people watching this understand that, but you get, as you own a gun store, and again, these videos are from the perspective of a gun store owner, in situations like these, it's really hard to walk that line between making a living and offering people fair prices for their guns and marking them up at a fair and reasonable level versus people getting the perception that you're just ripping them off or using the scenario or current circumstances against them to get more money out of them or shake them down or whatever. Another thing to keep in mind too is gun stores are getting very, very, very little inventory. They have to pay for their bills, they have to pay their staff, they have to pay their utilities and their rent, and they have to do all these things. Like rent doesn't, for the most part, like rent for us didn't stop. They didn't have it go down. I still have to pay them all the time. So if I'm getting like 1/5 of the amount of guns, I have to stretch those guns to go a little bit further than they did before. It's just the way it is. If people are willing to pay more for them, I can't be reckless and just like, oh, this is the one Glock I'm getting this month or the one Glock I'm getting this week. I'm going to sell it at what they used to go for, although there's like armies of people willing to pay way more than that and, risk not having the money to pay employees or myself or my utilities. Now, for us, it's not that bad. We're not like circling the toilet bowl, but a lot of local businesses are. So that's just something, again, to consider. Again, it's a fine line. You don't want to get screwed as a consumer. I understand that. You don't want to feel like you're being taken advantage of. That's totally fine, and I totally understand that. But this is just from perspective from the opposite side of the counter. Just some things to think about. Anyway, guys, I'm going to leave you off with those thoughts. I hope you enjoyed this vlog. If you did, please let me know by hitting that like button. If you want to see more content like this, please subscribe and hit that bell notification button. If you have questions or comments, please leave those down below. I do take a look at those. So anyway, I will leave you guys off there. I am Chris with Marksman Shooting Sports in Westfield, Indiana. You are watching Marksman TV, and I will see you next time.